All right, a warm welcome, everyone. It's an exciting day today. To the audience in this globe watching on YouTube, please do take a second to subscribe this YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button. I'm Kaneshwaran Govindasamy. A big welcome to everyone at Exchanging Ideas 12 Global 5G Evolution. It's a pleasure to have this wonderful session with everyone. A warm welcome to the speakers around the globe, and we are having the best speakers around the globe to present for us at this program. So let me begin with the first program where we are organizing the 5G Use Case Accelerator Summit on the 20th April 2021. It's an online accelerator program for high potential students and tech startups who are solving their region's challenges. So basically, 5G Use Case Accelerator Summit program, the main idea to have this program is to encourage the students, particularly from the university and the college worldwide, where we target more than 550 plus universities who are involved in the 5G research, or the students who are involved in data science, mechatronics, artificial intelligence, IoT, machine learning, big data, to come and participate by giving their ideas, an innovative idea for an innovative 5G use case. As we are aware, there is roughly an average about 100 to 150 use cases that is already commercialized or already in the pilot program with various vendors and tested and commercialized in the mobile operators. But then we are trying to explore what can be other innovative ideas that we can able to contribute towards to helping a more global society where we can able to solve all the environmental, healthcare problems, society problems, like the reason COVID-19, what are the issues that we face due to the COVID-19, how we can able to actually innovate when it comes to the modern society. And that's the reason we having such a program where we encourage the university students to come and join by submitting the use cases. And basically, there will be 8 participants will be selected to submit the use case and to be presented on the 20th April. In fact, this 13th March, we will be encouraging more students to come and participate in our program by giving them an idea how the template looks like when it comes to the 5G use cases, so that they have this idea. Some of the machine learning or data science mechatronics students do not really know anything about 5G. So we give them those ideas, what is 5G is all about, what are those use cases, so that these students, they have some brilliant ideas when it comes to the coding, when it comes to the ideas, so they can actually contribute by filling up those templates. And or during the April 13, we'll have like 1.5 session, 1.5 hour session where the students can able to do their presentations. And some of the main universities that we are welcoming is, as you can see on these slides here, so University of Surrey, Curtin University, Coventry, from Germany, Tokyo Institute of Technology, NYU Tendon. We have approached all these universities, and we already have about 15 advisors from these universities who are be the judges on the April 20th, so that they can able to evaluate the most innovative idea that no one has even ever thought about it, or even have commercialized, or even test piloted. So we have started to advertise in the social media heavily. We have approached as more than 500 universities via emails and marketing. And this is the prizes that we are offering to the students, so that it will give some sort of
فتح بالايميل نشوف
right,
جوابه
it will
بين
encourage the students to to be to have the inspiration to submit such use cases. And we have this um, different type of use cases of examples, as you can see here, from smart factory, smart transport, smart healthcare, smart agriculture, robotics, smart port, smart construction, and all those. We are also seeking sponsorships from any companies, vendors, organizations who are willing to be part of this program. And this particular bronze has been taken by one of the speaker who's willingly to sponsor for our program. The USD 500 and USD 1000 is still open for any companies who are willing to sponsor us. It will be much more appreciated. We also have this program by encouraging a lot of volunteers, because this is a non-profit initiative, and we are encouraging volunteers to come and help us out. There's a handful of volunteers around the globe who have supporting us by helping us in the social media to get the reach outs of the students. And we also have a website, global5gevolution.com, where we have this link where investors or entrepreneurs who are interested to be part of the program, they can able also to join and evaluate those use cases. Now, we are in talks with a European venture builder, a startup studio specialized in 5G technologies and use cases. And this venture builder already co-founded their first venture Series A funded deep tech company. And this venture builder is working on the ideas pipeline for building 5 more startups in the next 3 years. So we are on the same place looking for ideas. So our approach is to identify ideas and co-build and co-found the startup with the idea owners, especially students. And that's the idea, right? So we will soon publish the details of the program, and it will be some sort of a long-term program to encourage the students, how to build a startup with the innovative idea. And finally, this is the YouTube channel, Exchanging Ideas Global 5G Evolution, where it's a non-profit initiative where we publicize this on YouTube channel to encourage more students worldwide, children who don't have the access of information, because some of this information are not available via the Google or any of the websites. And a lot of organizers are actually charging, between 150 US to 1,000 plus US dollars for engineers to view those slides, but we are giving it for free, so that we encourage more students to participate and understand the whole 5G ecosystem. So basically, this is all about the program that we are organizing. So let's move on to the next speaker. Let me introduce host Fellner from Munich, Germany, to present on the digital twin enabled by fast and flexible 5G.
Good morning. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Well, good morning. Hello to everybody. So what I'm talking today about is a digital twin and why a digital twin makes sense in 5G or generally in new technologies. So if we look a little bit where we are at the moment with 5G, we see that 5G it's still on the move. In terms of features which been so far introduced, 5G is actually in its infancy. So that's actually the reality, and the promises they're still actually quite far away. And there is a lot of new features coming, a lot of new enablers for different industries and verticals. And that's actually what makes 5G as well so interesting, because it will be adopted by lots of different industries, way more than what we had in the past with 4G, 3G, and so on. As such, actually, the connectivity, the 5G network will simply be key in order to realize all those promises. So if we look actually, what's impacted by the connectivity, we'll see obviously, physical assets. So you have UEs, you might have any kind of smart devices which are impacted. Then as well, if you look and think about a factory, a smart factory or Industry 4.0, you need as well to be able to predict, especially the movement of those smart devices. So you might have a robot in AGV, something like that. And, you need actually to be prepared and have models in place how actually to simulate and emulate that kind of devices. And then obviously, connectivity is again key in order actually to provide any kind of services and to support the planned architecture. And therefore, the digital twin is actually a really good enabler. And if you look actually why a digital twin makes sense, well, as I mentioned, 5G is its infancy. Lots of industries will move towards implementing 5G. On the other side, lots of those industries who plan to have 5G never had before this kind of approach. So as such, actually, it's simply actually a big paradigm change between what was in the past and what's now. Obviously, 5G security is important. So, preparing a possible network for a robust security can as well be done via the digital twin by using it as a sandbox. And then obviously 5G, as I mentioned, is in the move. So lots of things are changing. You will have new features, new functions, new performance, new use cases. They need constantly to be validated. And the digital twin is actually a really good help to be used. So if we look actually at 5G, 5G, it's not a static approach. It is an enabler which can be used during the whole life cycle of a service, of a network. So from designing the network, in emulating it, in actually exchanging data or intercommunicating between different parties, and as well the real interaction. This is actually all what's supported by the digital twin. So what actually we've been looking for and what we designed was a digital twin really as a clone of a network. I'm in the past, well, we see actually a digital twin normally as well as a software. So you have lots of players in the market who actually use the digital twin, where they have input data, they have output data, and have an algorithm between manipulating the incoming data and then providing some insights. What we are doing actually as our digital twin as an enabler is simply to build a replica or clone of a real network. So you have all the components there. And the beauty of it is actually because it's implemented according to the standards, you have always the possibility to inter-exchange data between real components and emulated components in whatever way. So this actually gives a very high flexibility and simply allows the digital twin to be used in a various range of use cases and as well of industries. So, from sandboxes, test beds, to emulating any kind of cyber physical environments, up to cyber ranges for security. And then actually data and devices can be interacting between the real and emulated data, and that makes it so useful. A use case we've been working with one of the leading universities in UK. The university has an ecosystem, 5G ecosystem, and is testing car modems, so 5G connectivity from car, V2X communication. And what actually they've been looking for is to have their own dedicated 5G network, which they can manipulate, which they can tune, which they can configure as they want. And that's actually where we came into the place, and we provided this agnostic network, which, as I mentioned, simply gives them the flexibility to do the kind of research and validation which they simply need. So for them, it's really a big benefit, and it simply shows, how flexible the digital twin is. Well, the digital twin, obviously, is planned and to be used as well further in way more use cases, way more industries. And what we see here is, three main categories what can be used. So, for example, cyber range twins. This is something used in order to validate security. So doing any kind of war gaming, validating risks, validating security implementations, and the digital twin is simply actually the enabler. And as I mentioned, because it behaves like a real network, it can be used in any way and fashion. Then the next one is to validate live network operations, where data can be exchanged and continuously optimized. And then the digital twin, it's simply providing connectivity to very high amount of verticals and of industries. And as you can see here, some of them are simply listed. So, in summary, moving as well towards the end, the digital twin is a cost-efficient way of improving and of validating 5G use cases. It is highly flexible. It means there is actually the possibility to configure as you want, to build what-if scenarios, and so on. You can do it simply as you want. Obviously, the idea why using digital twin is looking as well into the time to market and speeding up all the different use cases, validating them. It's simply reducing operational maintenance costs because you know what you have or what you developed or what you are supporting before you deploy it in a real network. It's as well helping to reduce capital investments, improving the quality of the development of the features and so on. And it allows us as well to build ecosystems, attracting partners, building consortiums in order to address certain areas. And with this one, I'm actually already at the end, and I should as well be right on time. I want to say thank you and hope you enjoy the next few sessions. Thank you.
Excellent, host. Thank you so much for your presentation. I appreciate that. Let's move on to the next speaker. Let me introduce Anshal Sardana from New Delhi, India, to present on 5G mobile age computing. Right, so Anshal is not here. Anshal? All right, so let's move on to the next speaker. Let me introduce Mesa Khalil from Amman, Jordan, to present on 5G, AI, and machine learning in vertical industries.
Yes, thank you, sir. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. For me, maybe I will expect to see the flying cars in the space. Maybe because the traffic condition is one of the main problems nowadays. But when we are, but what I wish to see is that the health sector is a flourishing solution, will have more solutions to kill the pain of patients around the world. 5G is more than an access technology evolution. Actually, it's not only designed to expand the network capacity and lowering its latency. Thank you for network slicing and service orchestration capabilities. 5G and network transformation create the foundation for building intelligent and secure infrastructure capable of accommodating new services, use cases, and applications. On the other hand, AI is now enabling a host of new applications, augmented experiences, and efficient processes for several use cases across different verticals. And as you know, machine learning, deep learning, and active learning are approaches used to implement AI. So machine learning is prevalent anywhere AI exists. This combination of technologies will build one of the strongest ecosystems to transform the way we live and work. On the other side, this combination will accelerate the economic growth of key industry sector. Market data indicates that the combination will create up to 3 trillion worth of value in 2025. 41% of this value is direct revenue in the 5G. And when this combination will be mature, so the forecast that 5G, AI, and machine learning will create 13 trillion worth of value in 2035, based on some researches. So how to get the combination between these technologies? As each one of these technologies has a big impact in many industries and markets, but each one has challenges and obstacles which prevent to get the maximum advantages of the technology. AI is successful and high impacted technology in many fields, but the current usage of AI alone is facing some challenges, like the challenges of artificial intelligence is the highest cost, as the hardware and software requirements is very costly, and it requires lots of maintenance to meet current world requirements. We have also the large space of the hardware to achieve the targets. Power consumptions versus power source sizes. Data quantity and data quality are not enough to get efficient results for machine learning. Lack of computation power. We need massive volumes of data to build AI systems. So when we are combined 5G, AI, and machine learning, so AI hardware and the needed computing power machine learning will be in the cloud. So the cost of the hardware will be saved and the machine learning capability will be more powerful as it will learn from all the devices that are connected to the cloud by getting large amount of data. So by this combination, the hardware will decrease to the degree that the high cost, large space, and power consumption will not be challenges anymore. The computation power will be increased as well, and the devices will send live and fresh data quality, to the cloud, which will receive a huge data. So we have for data quantity now, and make the machine learning more efficient. Now, we expect many new applications and solutions for the pain points in different industries, like in industrial applications, in health, in transportation, in retail, and in media and entertainment. Now, for industrial applications, a lot of industry for initiatives will be driven from 5G, AI, and machine learning. So the productivity and the industrial manufacturing sector expected to increase by 6% in 2035 using this combination. And we have here the automated factory floors, we have the recyclable infrastructure, mobile robots, remote control machines, optimized logistics, and collaborative robotics. For the collaborative robots, to perform tasks that require human eyes, hands, and minds, the used mixture of sensor allows the robot to perceive the environment and gain enough data to train the AI platform. So the machine learning is working to achieve this target, and advanced features of 5G like low latency are fundamental prerequisites for the reliable flow data. So once the significant set of data collected through 5G connectivity, AI applications are able to generate actionable insights for the machine. And in parallel, human workers can enjoy the ultimate safety experience. Here, based on some researches, the forecast for collaborative robotics shipment this year, 2021, will be 50,000 shipments. And they are expect or forecast up to 300,000 in 2027. In health sector, we are expect better quality of life, evolve patient care, adding years of good health and more lives saved, as electronic health records had a significant role in helping to improve the efficiency of healthcare spending, but have improved physician patient communication, record keeping, and likely patient outcomes. But the combination of these technologies could transform remote patient management in a way will save a lot of lives around the world. So we are working to identify high-risk patients in their homes much earlier than is common today, enabling early treatment to help slow or stop the disease progression. In other words, to treat our populations more proactively and preventively and less reactively. Now, in transportation. In transportation, we will have vehicles automation, transportation management, and self-coordinated drones or self-coordinated unmanned area vehicles. In retail, we will see customer service robot, robotics, robotic shopping, robotic shopping cart, and line management, targeted advertising at the shelf. Media and entertainment is undergoing a rapid transformation with immersive media, tactile internet, AR, VR, 360-degree, and 6 degrees of freedom. So while 5G is now in commercial deployment, there is still a rich roadmap of upcoming 5G technologies. We see 5G and AI coming together as a potent force for innovation in this decade, creating what we call the era of intelligent connectivity. This means the world will be connected with an increasing number of intelligent devices, will be beyond what we have seen so far. With AI becoming integral to these connected devices and the continued advancement of visual computation and user interfaces, we foresee a closer level of interaction between people and devices, presenting us with the possibility of a new era of wireless connectivity. Wireless technology will continue to evolve, and so will innovation that shape our future. This research is happening now, and some point in time, we expect 6G will come. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Mesa. That was awesome. Let's move on to the next speaker. Let me introduce Anchal Sadhana from New Delhi, India, to present on 5G mobile age computing.
Yeah, hi Kaneshwaram. Yeah, let me share the screen. Yeah, team, let me know when you are able to see my screen.
Perfect, can be seen.
Yeah. Okay. So hi everyone, my name is Achal Sardana and I'm a 5G solution evangelist. Today I'm going to share my point of view on the 5G mobile edge computing. Firstly, let's understand what is mobile edge computing. So let me take an example of the legacy networks. In legacy networks, there are hundreds of kilometers of distance between your radio base station and the core networks, which has multiple hops and convergence. As a result, resulting in a very high round trip time. So what happened with this high round trip time? It doesn't guarantee any delay sensitive applications or the use cases. Now to reduce this overall round trip time so that certain delay use sensitive use cases can be considered in a telco environment, edge computing concept is introduced. So what happens in an edge computing concept? In that, your architecture is distributed and it processes the data very close to your user. So edge computing, it is basically a mini data center which is at the edge of the user, and it is actually reducing your round trip time, which is there very high when you talk about the legacy network. And with this, what happens is many low latency use cases, like other team members have talked about it and other speakers have mentioned, AR, VR, gaming, smart factories, smart farming, that can be considered. Now, edge, it can be deployed anywhere just depending upon the latency. It can be deployed at the radio side. Some edge devices, it can be deployed at the end device side. It can be deployed at the core network side as well, just depending upon what is the latency that you require. Let's see, why do we need edge computing in the 5G? Let us see some of the examples of this. Now, it basically helps service providers to monetize the 5G. It provides an opportunity to scale and support various low latency use cases like smart farming, smart agriculture, autonomous car, connected vehicles, AR, VR, gaming. Also, there's a lot of data which gets accumulated, right? So when you bring data closer to the end user, when you combine AI/ML, you can use the data analysis, okay, for driving various use cases. Like especially this analysis of data is useful in terms of autonomous car. It's a car driven by robot, right? So, and the other is, it basically provides you an enhanced user experience. Use cases like AR, VR, gaming, it basically, when configured on Mac, it can deliver real-time uses. It also reduces your network congestion because your user data is not traveling to the core network. It gets, and basically you analyze the data in the center between the radio and the core network, so it actually reduces your congestion as well. It is very secure, it is reliable, because your data is run in an isolation from the other network, right? And it also reduced your transport cost. The data traffic now doesn't have to traverse outside the network, hence you are able to reduce the transmission cost. These are some of the benefits of the MEC, but my main focus today is I would like to tell you who are the primary constituents of this MEC environment and how they are changing their landscape. Okay, so though you see MEC is primarily targeted at telco, but there are many players which are playing a key role, like hyperscalers, silicons, enterprise, and infrastructure providers. And there are various trends which are observed in the market. For example, let's take example of the hyperscaler. Okay, so these hyperscalers, if you talk about the three main hyperscalers, they have actually launched dedicated telco platforms, right? Like Google launched Anthos, Amazon launched AWS. They're also partnering with telcos, right? Some of the example is AWS has partnered with Verizon, AT&T has partnered with Azure, Google Clouds. They are also investing in the key OEMs. When I say key OEMs, Microsoft is basically partnering with Affirmed. It acquired Affirm, not only partnering, it acquired MetaSearch, it acquired Affirm just to make its proposition very strong. They're investing in data center infrastructure. So they have, along with Equinix, which is the largest infrastructure provider, they've invested in various partnerships with Amazon and Microsoft. And there are other cloud players also, like IBM Cloud, Alibaba, Amazon. They are also investing in Equinix data center facilities. Let's consider another important player, which is silicon chips. Okay, so there are a lot of mergers and acquisitions which happened in silicon chip area in 2020. If you see, right, the Nvidia and the ARM acquisition is one of the example. Okay, while the Nvidia brings the GPU and the AI capability, ARM had CPU capabilities. Correct. They are collaborating with hyperscalers. Like if you see, Microsoft has collaborated with ARM to deliver a streamlined AI operations. Okay, Intel has collaborated with Red Hat. So there's a lot of collaborations which are happening with the hyperscalers. Then there are a lot of silicon startups which has come up in the AI space. Some of the examples are Grok, or which is basically funded by Google, or it is a GraphCore, another company which is being used in Dell servers. Okay, another market trend that we are seeing with the silicon is collaboration with vertical partners, right? Like you will see that Intel acquired Mobily. Okay, that was one. Samsung acquired Herman. So they're not only limiting themselves into the chip sector, but they're also expanding into the various vertical sectors like automobile is another example. Now, let me talk about the third and the most important in this 5G make is the enterprise. Okay, because it is helping enterprise to monetize, right? So, what is this enterprise coming? The enterprise are coming with the collaboration platform where telcos and enterprising are collaborating. For example, AT&T, it plans to launch a 5G innovation zone. Okay, where in Florida, it will help along working with Magic Leap campus in the plantation side. Okay, and there's also these enterprise, they are pushing themselves in the semiconductor space. Toyota is an example which partnered with a company called Denso. Okay, and it is having its own chip manufacturing sector. Enterprise are also entering into the private network space where they will be using a dedicated private 5G. Okay, so enterprise will play a key role in this overall the mech landscape. The last but not the least, I would call it as an infrastructure provider, which is basically the base. In infrastructure, compute, storage, routers, switches, they are basically the providers of edge. So if you see Dell, it created an altogether a different offering of itself in the IoT space. Okay, and then there's this lot of data center co-location is happening. If you remember, I mean, 2020 was marked as the most historic year where this complete data center industry it basically consolidated. Okay, and there was like 30 billion size consolidation was done, which was like close to 113 deals. Correct. So there's a lot of co-location which is happening. There are also new players which is coming in terms of the platform. Saguna network is one which has got its own platform, infrastructure platform. So what I'm trying to say is with this particular slide, that in telco landscape you will find hyperscaler, silicon, enterprise, infrastructure which play a key roles. And to bring them all together, there's a very, very big opportunity for system integrators to play. And with this, I would like to end, and I would just say that telcos consider edge computing as a very powerful catalyst for innovation, okay, which can help them in translating a unique value. But telcos need to collaborate with hyperscalers, silicon providers, enterprise, infrastructure providers, where a system integrator can help them to play a bigger role. Thank you.
Thank you, Anchal. You nailed it. Excellent. Let's move on to the next speaker. Let me introduce Elena Leader from Riga, Latvia, to present the 5G mobility.
Hello to others. I will share a screen. So, hello for everyone. I'm from Latvia, that is in Northern Europe. And let me share also about our philosophy, as we are a mobile-only operator and we don't have fixed operator parts. We believe really that the future is mobile-only, and you can do a lot of things regarding also new 5G possibilities in mobile network only. And yeah, we are the oldest one in Latvia operator, and we work not only as operator but also as integrator for innovation ecosystem, and also as a IT solution provider. And the 5G story, what we see, begins actually with the 4G. And we believe that to be good in 5G, you need to be good in 4G. And you can start to develop a lot of things and solutions already in 4G, and then smoothly synchronize it in 5G new possibilities what will come. Because actually for now it's 5G is more for high speed, and that is actually possible also in 4G. And in future, yes, you need to look more on new evolutionary big steps what 5G will bring also in mobility. And and the one thing is, of course, also Internet of Things with the sensors, and there are the new networks come in. What is actually also what we see is quite empty the networks are, because the new sensors with mobile network connection is needed in both LTM and narrowband solutions. And I will start also story about the 5G with our experience, because you can learn a lot in Google about 5G, but yeah, maybe not to know so much about the best learning things could be from experience and use cases. And one thing we did by ourselves already introduced it in market is traffic light monitoring solutions, for example, which you can do actually in already in 4G, but that will be a big game changer also in 5G mobility. And this is a computer vision camera, what you can set up also in not smart traffic lightings, and do all the stuff to recognize and really see the car traffic, the boilerplates, and detect objects, what kind of cars are going, and see the intersection and multiple lines control and object movements. There's really a huge area in mobility what you can do with computer vision, and what we are also working there. And another vision and also the projects we are working on is a European research project, 5G roads. And we are involved there with multiple use cases. A lot of services will be also not only for cars and roads, but also for passengers, because there is in autonomous and connected cars, there is time and possibilities also for passengers to enjoy multiple cloud and services with the 5G. And of course, it's also cooperated driving, where car platooning comes in to really see how cars can communicate each other and go smoothly in autonomous mode, one behind another. Of course, it is also sensing driving with a lot of sensors for cars and also for roads. It's a huge area. As I told, the new networks for Internet of Things are already in, and new functionality for IoT will come also with 5G quite soon. And the services you can start to build up and set up already now. It's really like lots of sensors, how cars communicate with each other, how they communicate with also road infrastructure, and how actually the road infrastructure and cities and countries can monitor all this traffic information. Of course, it's also multimodal services, because it's not only about the cars, all logistic, starting from passengers, and also with other vehicles and even ships, and all the ecosystem with mobility is included. And how we will do it, we will actually this year we are setting up a 5G test site. That will be cross-border simulation test site, where we will play and simulate all those use cases. So not only just on infrastructure side and the car side, but it's really like on network side to test how can it be used in multiple countries, crossing boundaries of borders of the countries. And I see mobility, and we in the company are looking on mobility in wider scale as well. And another area we are working is also drones. And for drones, it's really plenty of possibilities also in using mobile network connection, as for now it's actually quite hard to fly beyond visual line of sight. It is not allowed, at least in Europe, and we see that the mobile network connection could make those flights much safer, and maybe also possible with a lot of additional functionality as well. And what we do is actually we measure also, and we are setting up our network also ready for drones. And our test shows also that it's actually quite ready, at least our network, for drones, because there is network also in the level where the drones flies. And we are also part of GUTMA and GSMA working group, and working together with other countries to test how it is in other countries and what could be the best practice there. And we tested also here a cross-border flight, because that is also a challenge countries are facing, because you can use in your country, but then those digital things you surely would love to use also crossing boundaries, crossing countries. And yes, as I told, it's really a big issue. All the industry is working on how to really make possible flights beyond visual line of sight, when the pilot cannot see actually the drone, and you can make also automotive solutions. And another example we tested was actually for right now, the base stations are downward oriented, but we made it one experiment and antennas move it upward, and we got really the record altitude in 26 kilometers high our internet. So that would be a future for sure, also with the drone taxis. If not on 5G, then on 6G for sure. And we also see that it's really like you need with a 5G is good to really test and build these solutions in real environment. So we have also cooperation with local hardware producers, and we are putting all the sensors and testing and showing to people. Also, there's a lot of possibilities for smart cities. And as I told, also for mobility is great to have a place where you can actually test those things. And of course, innovation ecosystem is totally really big thing in 5G, because the 5G will go in industry level, and you will need to go and build solutions for a really wide area of industries. And therefore, it's really crucial to work together with policymakers, support innovation legislations, of course, with hardware producers, because a lot of new things need to be in market, because it's not enough if you have empty network. You need hardware to use, and of course with scientists together. And that is how we also see the potential for innovations. And yes, feel free to ask me and contact me if you need to get more information on what we are doing, or how we see mobility could be enhanced by 5G. Thank you.
Excellent, Elena. Thank you so much for your presentation. I appreciate that. Let's move on to the next speaker, Justina Janika from Krakow, Poland, to present on 5G and edge computing are key to AR for Industry 4.0. Can you unmute yourself?
Sorry. Hello, everyone. Let me share my screen. Okay, can you see the presentation?
Perfect.
Okay. So, hi everyone, I'm Justyna from Augmented Reality. I'm one of the co-founders, and we're a company based in Poland, Krakow, which is working on edge realities. Edge realities is an augmented reality as a service solution, which was from day zero designed to be compatible with 5G and edge computing, and we're just leveraging those technologies. So in my presentation, I would like to show you what are the synergies and the benefits of using augmented reality together with 5G and edge computing, because we believe those technologies are actually crucial for making augmented reality a solution that can be used on a large scale for multiple users and in way more advanced use cases that are known that will be possible when 5G and edge computing is fully available. So let me start from a video showing you what augmented reality is and what are the principles behind it, how does it work. So most probably you have seen something like that. So we have the dragons anchored in the real environment. We have virtual objects that are enhancing the real environment, and this is like very complex problem to do something like that. This is the technology that is requiring very low latency. That's why most of the companies are doing it locally on the device. So solutions like ARCore and ARKit usually are running on the device, but in our case we are doing all those mapping that is allowing us to anchor this 3D content on the edge of the network. So what you can see here from the device, we are extracting the characteristic points, those green dots, and when the user is capturing the video of the environment, we are constructing the map. And this is all happening on the edge of the network. And we need really low latency to do it efficiently. Then the user is able to add the anchors. The anchors are actually points where the 3D content will be visible later on. So we are marking those places where our dragons will appear later on, and you are actually ready to enjoy your augmented reality experience. So something like that is possible thanks to outsourcing the computation that are responsible, the computations that are responsible for mapping the environment and making those devices spatially aware to the edge of the network. And because of that, we are also able to do multi-user solutions. So as you can see, we have 3 users who are enjoying the same object in the 3D space. They can collaborate, they can actually interact with them together, and it's all beautifully synchronized. To do it, you need to have really low latency. So what is more, we can also map large spaces, like we can map out the door, we can map the factories, warehouses, or we can map a park to create an augmented reality game. So this is all like taken to the next level, because with the local solutions like ARCore, ARKit, or HoloLens, you can just map one room, one small space. Otherwise, you won't be able to do it because the devices, they don't have enough computing power. So that's why we have this great synergy with 5G and edge computing, and we are able to do things that were not possible before. So this is the view from the smart glasses from Vuzix Blade, which are really low computing device that does not have any augmented reality capabilities. And thanks to our solution, we were able to actually make this device spatially aware and show a lot of data about the environment or data about the IoT sensors. So why it is possible? So to do augmented reality, you need a device with a camera, you need the video stream, you need the algorithms that are allowing the user to map their environment so that later on they can place augmented reality object inside over there. And once this map is created and the place where the content should appear is marked, the content will appear on the device and the user would see it in the 3D space. So all the other solutions are doing this whole computation on the device. We are outsourcing the huge part of it, the most important part of it to Mac, to make it more scalable and easier to use. The benefits of doing it are enormous. What is like the most important thing is that the solution can remain fully hardware agnostic. So you can build applications for different types of smart glasses, smartphones, and other devices. We have these persistent shared AR capabilities granted out of the box. You don't have to do anything to allow multiple users to see the same content. You can do large-scale capabilities or large-scale mapping and content showing with very precise drift compensation, and what is really important, the battery life of the device is extended, and the overheating, which is really a huge problem for AR, is reduced as well. In terms of the use cases for augmented reality and SLAM, there is plenty of them. Those are the most important one, and I'm going to show you a couple of them that we did with the platform in the past. So this is the checklist use case that's typically Industry 4.0 use case. We're using smart glasses to show it because then the industrial workers, they have their hands free and they can perform the inspection and maintenance faster. So I have our web-based platform where you can actually create the items for your checklist. You can define what the worker should check and you can define the results. It's all managed in the web-based platform. And those checklists are automatically transferred to smart glasses or any mobile device. And then you go to the field, the installation is pre-mapped, and once you look at particular parts of the installation, you'll see the checklist explaining, like asking you to perform your inspection and maintenance. You can interact with the glasses to define the results, to indicate the problems, and those data are immediately available in the web browser. So actually, you don't need a pen and pencil anymore. Industrial companies can use those data from inspection for predictive maintenance and analysis because it's all available in the web browser. You can filter it and so on. And this use case wouldn't be possible without 5G and edge computing because the smart glasses, well, they usually don't have enough computing power. The lightweight smart glasses that you can wear for the whole day, well, you can do something like that with QR code scanning, but QR codes are problematic. They are getting dirty, they are getting destroyed and so on. So it's very challenging to use it in industrial setup. And also wearing the powerful devices like HoloLens for the whole day when you're doing inspection is not really comfortable. So mapping can be also applied in logistics. So you have the warehouse over here, the worker wearing lightweight smart glasses, and the warehouse was mapped as well. So you can do vision picking solution, allowing to navigate the logistics worker to the items that should be picked for particular order. So this is the actual view from the smart glasses. You've got very precise indoor navigation, allowing you to turn left and right and indicating the place where the items for the order are located, allowing you to scan the QR code, indicating that the item was picked, and then navigating you to the second item. So this was all done thanks to those mapping capabilities. And to map the warehouse, you need edge, you need low latency, you need a lot of computing power to be able to do it. So this is the view of the map. You can see this corridor. The point count was automatically created on the edge of the network for this corridor so that the worker can be navigated around the warehouse. Okay, and the IoT use case. So here, actually, we have the valves that has IoT sensors inside, can be any type of IoT device, and we are visualizing those data using those glasses. We are seeing if the valves are open or closed. So this is showing the IoT data where they belong in real environment. Instead of the control room, you can do it in the field so that the workers can access them. They can understand what's the state of installation, and this is speeding up the operations a lot. So this can also be done thanks to edge, because the lightweight glasses we are using, they don't have enough computing power to understand the environment. So yeah, that's all on my end. Thank you very much for having me during this session.
Brilliant presentation. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Christina. Appreciate that. So now let's move on to the next speaker. Let me introduce Takesin Takehisahito from Tokyo, Japan, to present the mixed reality, HoloLens, and future apps.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So Take-sen from HoloLab. So let me switch to my slide. Hi. So it's my honor to be here, exchange ideas, global 5G evolution. So my name is Take-sen from HoloLab. So HoloLab is the mixed reality development company, and so we are working as 40 people, starting from 2017. And today, so I would like to talk about mixed reality and HoloLens, and so 5G and XR possibility and the new applications. So first, the mixed reality is the continuum, the ratio of the mixture of the digital into real. So mixed reality is composed of the real and AR, augmented reality, and the virtual reality, virtual environment. So we can change the ratio of the mixture. Let me show you one video on it. So first part, the real environment, and so we are living in real. So you can see the wall and the sail and the doors, and so we can add a little bit more digital on it. So if we put some annotation about the physical environment, so this is said to be the augmented reality AR. We are used it. And so we can also add a little bit more digital contents on it. So we can visualize the outline of the physical environment. So and even more, we can add a little bit more outline and the texture. So we call this as a virtual reality, 100% digital in visual. So it is anchored to the real physical environment. So mixed reality, so BIM, building information modeling case. So we have the 3D design of the environment, and so we can put that into real environment, anchoring this 3D digital data into real. This kind of thing can be possible using mixed reality technology. And Microsoft HoloLens enabled mixed reality. From 2017, we have the first generation HoloLens, and now we have the HoloLens 2 as the second generation. So I believe that so mixed reality and the spatial computing is an evolution of the new style of computing. And so new style of the computing, the spatial computing is not only from the HoloLens. So we also have the valuation of the device platforms. And so I believe that 5G and XR is the key technology for the use cases. First part, so I would like to talk about the high-speed requirements So typical 5G scenario is the HD movie. 4K and 8K are all about the 0 degrees of freedom. But XR requires 6 degrees of freedom, so means the more data required. So what is DOF, degrees of freedom? So typical movie is the angle and position are fixed. So even the high definition, so it is the 0 degrees of the freedom information. But so we also have the 36-degree movie VR. So it is the angle is variable, pitch your roll 3 degrees, but position is fixed. In spatial computing, we also have the freedom for positions X, Y, Z axis. 3 more degrees of freedom means 6 degrees of freedom. This leads to the more higher bandwidth and high speed is necessary for the communication. So next step, so low latency. So I would like to talk about the two different technologies. The first one is AR Cloud, and the other is remote rendering. So the first part, AR Cloud, is a system that enables multi-users to share the XR experience in real environment like this. The key features, the first part is the spatial data, digital twin. So we scan the environment and so let it into the 3D spatial data. And we also have the multi-user coordination system and spatial contents with layers. So I want to show you one video with the one video. This video is from the NTT Docomo, the Japanese largest carrier, 5G carrier. And so they are developing the AR cloud platform. And also our company is helping this development to realize these kind of things. So you can use our you can use the authoring tool and put some contents on it, and it can be uploaded to the AR cloud. Then so you can visualize this content layer on top of the real environment like this. This is the illuminated, augmented Shibuya City. Do you like it? I hope you like it. So why does this air cloud needs 5G communication? Essentially, the air cloud needs high speed and ultra low latency. So because, as I said, the 6 degrees of freedom introduction for many users and digital objects required a lot of communication with high speed and ultra latency. And content downloading and uploading is mainly for the high speed. And the 3D spatial data is always heavy and huge, so that is requires the high speed. And periodical virtual positioning system sync is all about ultra low latency. And the key topology is make the mobile edge computing. So instead of having this spatial data, and so this coordination system behind the internet, the public cloud space, but so we can put the MEC server sitting next to the 5G base station. So that is more convenient for the local usage. So the MEC should be the ideal solution for AR cloud scenario. So let's take a look to the other mixed reality technology named the remote rendering, which requires a low latency. So this movie is about this movie is the scene from the HoloLens to rendering the 100 million polygons CG. Look at that very photorealistic movie of the building, which have the 100 million polygons. So we use it, the Azure remote rendering technology from Microsoft, and it also have the interaction like this. So this kind of uh, heavy size, larger size CD cannot be rendered usually in HoloLens too. So typically, so it is said that 100,000 polygon will be the moderate for the UX on local rendering. But so using this remote rendering technology, the system can be complicated, but rendered data in the remote resources on the cloud can be communicated to the device local, and at the same time, the device need to send the position and an interaction information to the remote resources. That's why so it requires a higher bandwidth, and at the same time, low latency is required. So last part of my presentation, so let me introduce the brand new technology named the Microsoft Mesh. So last week, Microsoft announced the technology named Mesh. It's the technology stack for new XR communication. So look at that. This is the avatar of mine. So my name is on it. And so this is my colleague Shiraki-san. So physically, so we are sitting totally different places, but so we can communicate in the one space using this technology. We also offer the Microsoft AD and Azure AD functions, so you can summon more colleagues or friends who is listed on the Microsoft ID list. So it is a very impressive technology. So wrap up, so mixed reality and HoloLens is the evolution of computing, and 5G and XR is the key technology for use cases. So my conclusion is that 5G evolves XR, and XR evolves 5G. Thank you. Arigato. So please find me in LinkedIn through this QR code. So, please leave your message and comment, post your ideas. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you. Arigato, Take-san. So let's move on to the next speaker. Let me introduce Bharat Wach Pulungundla from Amsterdam, Holland, to present on 5G Redefine What is Possible.
Hi everyone, I'm just sharing my screen. Yeah. I hope you can see my screen.
Nope.
No?
No.
One moment. I think you should now. It should be now, right?
Yes.
Can you see my? Okay, great.
Yeah.
So hi everyone. My name is Bharadwaj. I work for Verizon. I'm based in Amsterdam. Before I start saying anything, it was so inspiring to listen to other speakers, and especially all the things that's happening in 5G and Mac space. It's really exciting to be part of this panel, and also given what we have gone through the whole last year, I think these type of conversations, exchange of ideas will ignite and inspire people, all of us. So what I would like to cover today, as most of our speakers alluded to, I'd like to say how 5G is trending and what I have seen in the industry for the last one and a half year, how things are evolving, and my observation from my lens. For me, like 5G is not just an access technology, which is from 1 to 3G to 4G to 5G. There is something extra for it beyond access, that is the innovation. So 5G is it's a quantum leap from 4G in terms of almost it's disrupting everything that we've been doing, how we communicate, how we actually use networks for. So there are multiple options that are possible now for everybody at the consumer level and also at the enterprise level. So I feel 5G is a truly game changer, and we are still in the we are still catching the wave. This is to give you a perspective of just in 2023 is not too far. We are expecting, this is a report from Ericsson. If you see these numbers, there are like over 1 billion of 5G subscription expected in a less than a year or a year and a half time from now. And mobile traffic at this moment, it's going to, I have different graph. It shows how it's shifting towards 5G, gradually. It's the same thing that happened when 4G was launched. Nobody anticipated that there would be YouTube content, kind of content we consume from YouTube would be so hard. Things were fine. People were able to communicate each other. 3G was working all good. But then the moment 4G was launched and the video content, the consumption and transmission was too high. And that's the kind of a change that we expect 5G will bring. And US already is showing a lot of growth in terms of number of mobile subscribers in 5G. And there are almost major cities are lit up by 5G at this moment, public 5G. And it's really not just the technology evolution, it's also creating a lot of, it's a new wave, what I call, that's creating a lot of jobs, it's starting the economy, building a lot of ecosystems. And that's the fourth industrial revolution that we call. If you see the first industrial revolution, which was mainly by the steam engine that brought in, and then followed by the electricity, and then followed by the information technology, the third industrial revolution, where you mainly use compute power and to get insights into the business, apply everywhere possible the computers and data. Now, if you see the fourth industrial revolution, which has a lot of components together. It's not just a compute, it's the connectivity, it is the devices, it's also the artificial intelligence, the cloud compute. So all of these things are coming together, and 5G and MEC are the key enablers. So these are really the one brings the pipe, one brings the compute. So I think we are lucky to be part of this wave, especially being technologists. We like to see how things are evolving, and probably we want to all these ideas with the evangelism. We can actually we have now tools to actually realize those ideas. What were seen as the filmy, like Minority Report, people were trying to do in the air. These are now becoming real, right? And that's possible because of these kind of infrastructure technologies that we have. So this is what we call 8 currencies for 5G. And like one of the speakers already mentioned, we are in infancy. We have to realize full potential of 5G yet. If you see all these 8 currencies, this is a promise of 5G. At the fullest of its potential, this is what it can give us. It can give us up to 10 gigabits throughput with AR, VR, 4K immersive content. Or you can significantly reduce the round trip with the edge compute, with the sub 10 millisecond latency. And you can be more reliable for autonomous vehicles, communication. You can be up to 6 nines reliability. And if you are deploying any new apps or new services in the cloud, it can be less than 90 minutes. People who work in DevOps know how significant change this is. And with the mobility, it can reach up to 500 kilometers an hour. So we were doing a test with a famous car racing organization. They wanted to deploy these cameras, 4G, 4K HD cameras, where when the car is on 360, 400 kilometers an hour, it is streaming 360 content. and you could use it to real-time gaming experience for somebody who's sitting in a game room and real-time racing this racer. So, and if you have like a fast moving train, you can have this connectivity. And it's beyond connectivity, right? So you don't need, if you want just connectivity, you don't need to have this level of speed for mobility. And the volumes of data, if you see, it's huge. Like Anshul was mentioning, so you don't go to that outside your network, so you save a lot of costs, and you can also transmit a lot of data inside your own 5G cell. And for IoT, this is again, it will break the barrier. You have this glass ceiling of, there is a limitation of, how many devices can be connected. And these devices do generate a lot of data. And okay, if you have text data, there's temperature, humidity, this kind of data, this is very easy to manage. But when you have streaming data, video streaming, that kind of data, it's very hard to manage the volumes. And uh, IoT, I think this is 5G is just making it scale up. IoT, all the IoT use cases. One of the things I observed is IoT use cases. If you see, all the 5G use cases are essentially few years ago we envisioned as part of IoT use cases, be it smart agriculture, smart cities, all those things. But they are now being more put under 5G, because 5G and MEC give the power for them to be realized. And energy efficiency is also one of the key component. Now, when you have such a large amount of devices, we need, not in the current incumbent networks, you need a lot of access points. So 5G will reduce that number of access points. In a way, you can also expect this shift from the compute to the edge, which will make the devices lighter, and they can run on budget of energy, and that will save a lot of power, bring a lot of efficiency. So key building blocks, depending on which country, which situation, where you are, there are different options: low band, mid band, and spectrum. That's the first component. You need the fiber, which is for the backhaul, and then you have this small cell deployments, and this new radio, and then you have this integration with the software-defined networks and virtualization, network function virtualization. So these are the core components of 5G that are very important part of this architecture. So 5G is, like I mentioned earlier, it's mainly the if I can simplify, it's mainly the computer vision. So you have this ability to um, see things, like you have this ability to make this the machine see how we see as humans. So like you have these platforms that are coming out, especially with the computer vision. So you are creating this intelligence to this dumb €100 camera that will then generate the insights as if the actionable insights. So this can be applied in any context, right? So when we see it's just like we see things, how we use our eyes in different situations. We can use computer vision just like that. So where you get this stream of the video data, it could be coming from a drone, it could be coming from a smart street light, it could be coming from a surveillance camera, what have you. Then it will be passed to the edge compute, and then you will have this artificial intelligence, and then you get this real-time contextual insights for many things, like for preventive maintenance, or you have security aspects, so all sorts of things. These are really big things because it's compute heavy. You need to do image processing, stitching, a lot of things. And the other important aspect or the use case that comes out of 5G and Mac is immersive the content and immersive content and creation and both consumption. So like you just saw an example how HoloLens and XR is coming more and more useful, barring the price of the headset. I think when it gets more cheaper and people start using it more, it will bring the shift in how we actually the digital content will be produced and consumed. When we ages ago, when we wanted to search something online, we just do a text search, then we get a page and then we follow the process. Now we go to YouTube and just type for the same question, and then you get a 2-minute video. So in the future, how we actually learn, communicate will be purely on holographic, immersive way. People use a 3-dimensional way of communicating, or the Zoom lessons will be transformed into a more immersive learning experience. And for that, you also need a lot of people to create content, which fits into that kind of framework. So primarily, it's a video analytics, and you have the power of artificial intelligence, and then you have this immersive content creation and consumption. These are 3 things that are coming out of the possibilities of 5G and Mac, and then how you use them in different vertical scenarios is like unlimited possibilities. So these are the 5 vertical use cases. As I mentioned, all these 3 building blocks or the Lego blocks type, you can see them, you can apply them in any which condition, in a way that is fitting for the context. If you see in smart cities, you have you can put like one of the presenters showed how you can manage traffic, or with an edge compute, or when the vehicles are communicating, the vehicle talks to the traffic signal, all sorts of combinations. And you have waste management, huge use case problem to address, and then you have solutions around it. And transportation, I think the drones transportation, I think it was really cool. Same as autonomous vehicles. You need this kind of technology where you are you are relying on a consistent connectivity. And healthcare, this actually I think we have changed a lot, especially because of the pandemic. One of someone I know, they had to go through a brain surgery, and then there was only specialist in the US, and there was one specialist in Utrecht. So they had to work together, especially to collaborate and do that brain surgery. It was very special situation. And I think this type of remote robotic, it's not a robotic surgery, but remote collaboration with specialist doctors across the world is getting more popular, and access to healthcare is very it's going to be accessible for everybody across the globe. And smart home use cases, and you just saw some media and entertainment use cases. So in the end, the 5G this is exactly why we believe the 5G has this potential to innovate, and there is a the extra component delta from 4G to 5G beyond the access networks is this part of innovation. So this brings to the point how we approach towards 5G deployments for enterprise customers. Is we have various labs across US and in Europe. We bring our clients to those labs, and we showcase more or less all the use cases that we have seen today in our previous presentations. And there we inspire them, and then we start with the proof of concept, and then so that they can try, get hands-on, because everybody has something for them in 5G deployments. A network engineer to a user to a business person, so the whole value chain they can actually experience firsthand, and then you can actually try it out. So for it's more or less like a community building, or we are building this developer community, we're building this 5G adoption community. There are a lot of startups coming in this space. So I think all these things will accelerate further the 5G adoption, and I'm very excited to be part of this wave. And these are the pictures from our lab in New York, Chelsea lab. So that concludes my presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Bharadwaj. Excellent. Thank you so much. So now we are moving to the last speaker. Let me introduce Tura Hatem from Warsaw, Poland, to present on 5G, 4K, 8K streaming and AR, VR. Can you unmute, please? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry for that. I just would like to introduce myself. My name is Tura Hatem. I'm working in telecommunication industry for more than 14 years. The last 11 years, I work as a wireless executive solution manager in Huawei before, and recently I joined Ericsson team for the network performance and 5G evolution lead for whole Europe and Latin America. I would like now to share my presentation. So I will share the screen and tell me if you can see it. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. I would like now to mention to everyone, thanks for our colleagues for the great presentation. And today I would like to talk about 5G. All of us know and notice the big difference between 3G and 4G technology. 5G will be way beyond that in terms of network evolution and revolution. 5G introduced in 3GPP to address the increasing demand for the low latency, wider bandwidth, and also more connected device. And 5G mainly focus on the three scenario: ultra reliable low latency, URLLC, and enhanced mobile broadband, eMBB, and also massive machine type of communication. To enhance user experience through network evolution and revolution. Everybody know and say 5G will be big and also amazing and life-changing. Actually, 5G will address different things in our life, include smart city, smart traffic management, and also you can think and imagine how smart traffic will be in highways, sending real-time data to avoid the accident and intelligently routing the traffic. A smart home with the IoT application, and also 5G will help us with HD video, AR, VR, and UAV deliver-based drone functionality, intelligent manufacture, and IOV for the connected cars. Actually, here I would like to address only the part that it's belong to my presentation, and hope that I will add new ideas in this presentation. Actually, as I mentioned here, all the vendors, the 5G vendors, supporting a lot of use cases and also cooperating with the third party in order to demonstrate end-to-end solution, like 5G control drone and also 5G drone for VR streaming, as well as AR remote education, 5G also for the VR streaming and for the cloud gaming. 5G also for the 360 4K drone, and finally for the 4K video. So now I will just go quickly through my slide. As you see before, I think most of the colleagues show you very nice videos. You can touch exactly what's the AR and VR functionality. Here, I would like to mention for the 5G plus cloud VR will enable the access for you to extend your content, especially for the business to business and for the business to consumer. As we know, for the 4K and 8K 360 VR experience, all of it will go through 5G. Also cloud-based VR solution and some other advertisement as a new era of the advertisement. 5G can give us a lot of benefit. High throughput, especially for the low latency, which we have it strongly in those applications, and high experience integrated also with the cloud VR. Actually, here, as you can see in my presentation, you can see there is a lot of demand for the real timing and also a lot of needs for the VR and AR. Actually, there is a lot of supplier. I just pick a few of them. They can already provide a lot of VR glasses and some other applications and so on. But here for me, I address more the use cases because we are vendors supplying the equipment, designing the equipment, manufacture it, and providing to the operator. I would like also to address very nice business case or use case for the 5G, we call it backpack live, to enable 4K and 8K broadcasting everywhere. You can imagine for the broadcast, especially the people who they need to broadcast a live video, they need to have very heavy equipment, and sometimes it's hard to reach to a lot of difficult places. So by using 5G, the technology is getting much more innovative, because every broadcast, it's need only one backpack inside it, 5G CPE and also encoder. And from that perspective, it can easy to have all the live streaming broadcasted through high throughput needed for the uplink, and also provide live streaming with 4K and 8K let us say resolutions. So you can see that 5G is changing our life, make the things more advanced and easier, and also much more beautiful. Also here, I would like to address the point for the 5G VR control drone via artificial intelligence, AI, and also a VR for the innovation solutions. So from that perspective, you can see here for the 5G, it's help us from the technology and also to cover all the domain. Include for the AI inspection automation and real-time 360 4K 8K video streaming, and also for the real-time VR control. From that perspective, here we can cover all the domain. We can cover entertainment domain, include flying camera, for example. We can cover also for the safety, like public safety, some disaster recovery, and also some delivery for the box or the things. And it can be very helpful for the agriculture, and also especially for the industry, which is the inspection, wind, and also some other electrical industry. Very important point here we need to address. I'm so thankful to the previous videos. If you can watch it again, and you can see the AR, augmented reality, how it's life-changing. And from that perspective, Yes, and from that perspective, as you can see here, 5G plus AR and also AI, artificial intelligence, it can define a lot of new business domain in B2B and also in B2C. Thanks to 5G to give us high throughput, low latency, and also connected AI connected with the clouds, we can have a lot of 4K, 8K real-time video via 5G. And also it can give us a lot of fault inspection and some remote expert anyway and anytime. As I show you in this picture, actually 5G will be having a lot of advantage, especially with the AR, as it's mentioned in the previous videos, because especially for the operator, they like the business case, which is you can easy to operate and maintenance a lot of equipment on site. What you need to do, just send one engineer to the site with the functionality of the AR and smart glasses. You can have the expert online and you can just fix the problem with a huge decrease of the operational cost. Actually, the 5G now is very important with our COVID situation because a lot of students sitting in home, online, let us say learning. So from this perspective, for the augmented reality is very important for us to involve more or to see the things instead of visiting, real visiting to the lab, and also doing a lot of examination, a lot of training, and a lot of things that it's not easy to go outside and do the activity by yourself. Here, as we discussed, there is very nice use case. I can share it with you, and it's attract most of the operator. We call it a 5G cloud AR for the new generation city. We call it tour or tourism industry. From this perspective, 5G is very important for us for with the integration of the cloud AR for the city tour will enable a lot of services for the tourism industry. Time efficiency also for the tourism and extend the travel experience, and also we have next generation of the tourism. High quality for the AR content, you can push a lot of high quality AR content through the video, photo, navigation, audio, and also it's helped to show a lot of historical places and demonstrate in the actual city life tour. Here, I just need to sum up all the previous things that you saw it for the 5G. 5G now, for the most of the operator, it's life-changing, not only for the high throughput, which have been needed for the high capacity demand, but there is a lot of booming in this industry based on a lot of applications, services for the private sector SME, for the end user customers, and it can enrich our life through the communication. Thank you for your listening and have a good day.
Excellent, Tura. Thank you so much. That was an awesome presentation. So let's move on to the next session. It's a 10 minutes Q&A session. It's open to all the speakers. Let's have very much a relaxed and session with, if you have any questions that you want to pose to any of the speakers, yeah, please feel free to do so. Maybe I can start first with the first question that I would like to address to host Felna. When it comes to the digital twins, so, in your experience for the year of 2021, what are the three main industries the digital twin can be a favorite?
Right. So probably what we see is that manufacturing will be leading. Industry 4.0 is at the moment at least dominated by manufacturing. So smart floor, smart factory. We see as well the need for digital twin in other areas, like for example, government military, where it's about assessing certain 5G devices, so for example, IoT security validation before any kind of new device is introduced into the market. This is actually what I see at the moment, pretty hot, obviously. And yeah, the verticals, it will simply depend, how fast certain new features will be introduced, because lots of the interesting 5G features are still to come. So it simply depends how fast everything goes. That will as well decide, what as well will be hot. And obviously, all this ranking might as well change pretty fast. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Any questions from any of the other speakers?
One quick question from me, this Bharatwaj. You mentioned the digital twin in the context of networks, right? So you're making a digital twin of a network.
Correct.
Okay. So that's not a question, it's just a clarification, basically. Yeah.
Yes,
Cool.
yes. So generally, there are the digital twin concept is it's a software. As I mentioned, there are actually three components there. You have an ingress data, which you take, then you apply a certain algorithm to it, and then you have an output. Or a digital twin might as well be a 3D reproduction of a certain site, a certain flow, and so on. And our digital twin is a little bit more than that. It's actually a digital clone of a real network, where you have all the different network elements. You can as well access the links between the network elements in order to validate message transport, in order to validate certain behaviors. We have as well customers, for example, who are using our concept in order to do security validation by introducing so-called man-in-the-middle attacks. So once the link is available, then actually they can insert attacks and try to validate certain network elements and their behavior. Thank you.
Thank you.
The other question that favorite question, just open to any of the speakers here. I have this question running in my mind when it comes to the mobile age computing. Obviously, mobile age computing like boxes have been introduced in private on a private network in any of the industries, and because of the low latency, real time and all that. So there's a lot of boxes that's been introduced by hyperscalers in the industries, right? Like Google, even Microsoft have the Meta Switch boxes. Also, Meta Switch boxes is available. AWS also actively playing a role in the mobile age computing. And a lot of telco players, telco vendors have shown concern regarding about these hyperscalers are eating up their market share. And but then the hyperscalers claim that they are a software company, they have nothing to do with the telecom and all that. So is there a clear line, between these two players in the industry? Or hyperscalers a threat to the telecom vendors? Is there anyone wants to share on this?
Kanish,
Yeah.
sorry, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So we've been as well looking into this challenge. So in the past, it was actually a pretty clear demarcation between telcos and the application guys or the services guys, and that's actually moving more and more together. So we see meanwhile that each of the big player groups are trying actually to gain more and more market share, and there will as well be overlay coming as well. And we see as well the companies like Microsoft, Amazon, and so on, that actually they as well buying as well into companies which are providing 5G networks. So yeah, there will be actual overlay more and more. So much from my side. Thank you.
Kanishpuram, I would like to add more to it. So it is basically like Edge is kind of a monetization, right, for all the players. And I clearly brought out in my slide that if you have seen, I mean, though we say telcos are the focus, but they cannot win this race because it. I mean, silicons are entering in this space, hyperscalers are entering in this place, infrastructure, enterprises, and everybody wants to win this race. Okay, and if you talk about telcos and hyperscalers, they play a key role, telcos being at the center of the communication industry. Okay, and nobody can win this race. I mean, hyperscalers, they bring that cloud expertise. Except for Microsoft, if you see, apart from cloud expertise, it has done some acquisitions like Metaswitch or Affirm Networks. Correct. So
Yes.
Microsoft is trying to be a complete player in the market, where it is saying you don't have to collaborate with the OEM. So I will bring that OEM expertise from the my Metaswitch and the Affirm network, and I will bring the cloud expertise. Okay, so that I try to dominate this market. But if you compare AWS and Google, what they are doing is they have just launched their dedicated telco based platform, right? Amazon, AWS, and Google has launched Anthos. So they are still restricting themselves to the cloud part, apart from little bit collaboration with the silicon players. Okay, but telcos and hyperscalers, we call them in the industry buzzword as they are like frenemies. Okay, both of them know they can't win this race if they don't collaborate. It is not competition, it is basically collaboration. And in Edge, nobody can win this race if they don't collaborate, right? So if you see, and they have understood this very well, so they are not competing. You can take any example, right? If you see Verizon example, Verizon has collaborated with AWS. They are working together in terms of identifying certain use cases, working together for use cases like drone or towards the sport size. If you see AT&T, it is not only working with one hyperscaler but with two hyperscalers. It is working with Google, okay, Anthos platform. It is also working on the Azure side of it. Okay, so I think initially everybody was talking who will win the race, whether telcos or hyperscalers, but they have got their own area of expertise. While hyperscaler bring the cloud expertise, telcos will actually help in basically being the center of the communication industry. They will bring all the players together, okay, to make this mech work. So they've clearly understood collaboration is the key for Edge. There's no single winner to this race of the Edge.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Acha.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any questions on the board? The other area was quite interesting area was the 6 degrees of freedom that I saw in one of the presentation slides. I believe Takisen has presented that. Um, how stable is the 6 degrees of freedom? Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, the core processor was introduced by Qualcomm, right? They started with, if I'm not mistaken, 3 degrees of freedom, and then slowly moved to 6 degrees of freedom sometime a year back. So would you mind to give us some kind of idea, the stability of the 6 degrees of freedom?
Yeah, thank you for giving me question. So at this moment, the 6 degrees of freedom is yeah, done by the multiple camera input, and so IMU, Inertial Measurement Unit, sensor fusion, and so it depends on the device platforms. For example, the HoloLens 2 has or even the HoloLens first generation has the good 6 degrees of freedom. And so Microsoft has developed the custom SoC named the Holographic Processing Unit, HPU. And so because of that, the performance of the HoloLens is quite good. And in comparison to that, so the other player, NDL from China, Beijing, China, NDL Lite has their 6 degrees of freedom, but so the it is doable, but so less less than the HoloLens one. Yeah, it depends on the processing power and algorithm to fusion the multiple inputs, but it gradually getting improved.
Right. Okay.
And also, so I'm really excited to hear from the I think the Justina-san. So short of the one example that so you are using the Verizon blade. No, Verizon Vuzix blade, and so it offers the edge slam. So it is very impressive technology for me.
Thank you very much. That's really kind and great to hear that you like it. I would like to quickly follow up on this 6DOF concept because it's needed to actually do augmented reality in 3D. If you think about like typical AR use case for a smartphone, I don't know, IKEA app or any app that is allowing you to display the 3D model in real space, you also need the 6DOF because you have your device with the camera and you are like moving it around. And this is 6DOF because you need all those degrees of freedom to actually see it. So it's possible to do it even with the smartphone with one camera. You don't have to use the EOF camera, you don't have to use stereo cameras because Google, Apple, they are doing it locally on the device. But the challenge is that you need to do, in such case, you can only do it on a really small scale. So you can map your living room, you can place a sofa in your room, but you cannot map the whole warehouse, you cannot map the whole factory or amusement park because the devices, they don't have enough computing power. And to be able to do those like fully augmented reality concepts, you need 5G and edge because as you have shown on your presentation, you need ultra low latency, and sometimes you also need a lot of bandwidth to actually be able to do it. So this is the perfect synergy. So 6DOF, I would say 6DOF, it's there. It's working in as stable manner as possible, but it's all done locally at the moment. We are that exception that are trying to do it on the edge of the network, which is a big challenge because of all the latency issues and so on. But it's possible, and I think it's the future. Well, we believe that devices, they should display and not process. The processing should happen on the server side. So on the servers that has enough computing power, that are more easier to manage from the energy management perspective and so on.
Right. Thank you. Any other questions on board? The other interesting part I think Elena was showing was the BVLOS. How stable is this? Is it already been successful, tested, and commercialized, Elena?
I'm trying to which part you mean?
The BVLOS.
Do you mean the test site or the use cases for mobility?
I think the test BVLOS.
Beyond visual line of sight. Yes. Mm-hmm. We have. It's actually by legislation, it's not allowed, and we set it up as special pilot projects together with authorities. And we did, of course, autonomous flights on those pilot projects and tested our mobile network connectivity there, and it was working very good already. And what we are doing now, also in this GSMA and GUTMA working group together with other countries, is really like testing the network. Where are the places? What network capabilities are for drones up in those high altitude for drones?
Right. Thank you. Any questions on board? If not, then the session comes to an end, and I really appreciate, and I'm so grateful to all of you for your time and effort. Thank you so much for making this event to happen. Thank you so much, Horst Fellner, Anchal, Bharatwaj, Elena, Justina, Mesa, Tura. I hope I have thanked all of you, and this world is a very small, right? So we may cross each other. I really hope that we have this network, because what I'm trying to do is to build this 5G community. And yeah, we may cross each other when time comes. Maybe I can introduce you guys to, if anyone is interested on special technology, then I'm more than happy to introduce you guys. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. So have a nice day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Same to
Thank
you. Take care.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
It was great learning. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.